that, we're going to start part 3 of our Paper Girls discussion and getting into the gay stuff, which is probably what you've all been waiting for. And you're like, why the fuck did it take you 3 episodes to get here? But hey.
And if you're wondering that, then you're new, because...
You're definitely new. And welcome to Bree, Kaitlynn, and Theora discuss things, and it takes years. So you're welcome.
But I think we're interesting or funny, maybe a little both, hopefully.
Hopefully,
I mean, you just love us.
You're still here. So thank you. And now, we will get into all the KJ Max stuff. And I want to start, we're just going to go for this. There's no great way to group this other than just going episode by episode with all the KJ gay stuff that happens. So that's how we're going to do this. Starting first with episode 3. So this is the sequence of stuff where KJ rescues Mac.
Hold on. I know this is bad, but I have to... No wonder it took me a few episodes to get into it.
I know.
It didn't get gay until episode 3. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, so... I mean, to be fair, they're 12, so it's fine. But yes, episode 3. That's kind of where it all starts. Or at least becomes obvious. So... it starts with them on like Larry's farm, and he tells them, hey, the bad guys, they're closing in, and so we gotta get the fuck out of here. And KJ is the only one at this point who's like, Mac's not with us. She's the only one. Everybody's like, yep, let's get the fuck out of here, whatever. KJ like, no, there's 4 of us. Where's Mac? And Larry says the wrong thing, where he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but she's probably dead. And KJ's face just transforms to terror. She's like, what?
Why would you say that?
Why the fuck would you say that? Why the fuck?
And children.
So, they're children. I mean, they're children who are being forced into this weird adult situation. And so KJ's response to this is, fuck you. And she steals the motorbike in the garage, which is such a lesbian move, and rides into town to find Mac. Like, what a lesbian move. I love everything about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
I just love her.
KJ stealing motorbikes. Like, it's so awesome. She says, like, I love that she says nothing. She's just like, uh-huh. And then later you just see her riding the bike and leaving. It's so great.
Like, did she know it was out there?
Well, yeah. So when they're in the barn with Larry, she spots the motorbike and like the shot lingers because they're like, remember this, okay. She's gonna steal it. But her riding away and stealing it happens in episode 4. So before that kind of happens, she has this like, she basically quietly hatches this plan. And so she's in like one of the rooms with younger Aaron, and she's like, hey, I Google mapped everything and I found Dylan's address and I'm gonna go, and so don't tell anyone. And so that's when she steals the motorbike, like a typical 12-year-old. And then the first scene we get after this is the scene with her at Dylan's house, and she runs into Dylan's wife. And this scene is so fucking cute. So fucking cute, because she's just like creeping outside, like trying to like look inside without going inside, because she's a kid. She has like no power.
Exactly.
She's just learned what the internet is, and she's like, I hope this is right.
She's scared and cautious, as one would be.
Totally. So, which is kind of mature. And so the wife finds her and is like, hey, are you Kimberly's friend? And KJ's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then she's like, oh, Joe. Her friends call her Joe. And I love that this is KJ's like, that sounds like something Mac would pick as a name. Right? And she's like, yeah, Joe. Gender neutral Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I love that detail. And then she's like, all right. Cause like, she's like, we're about to die. We gotta go. We got no time. But she's like, whatever. You're the adult. I can't say no to you. Like, KJ has so much guilt, and she's always like miss manners. Like, a lot of the time she's the one to apologize and like, play with etiquette, which I assume she learned from home. But here she's like, yeah, okay, the polite thing to do is to go inside. So she goes inside. And I love in this scene, she has no idea. She doesn't realize she has a crush on Mac yet. She has no idea. And the actress just nails it in this scene. Like, nails it. And so the excuse she so she has no idea she has a crush. But the excuse she gives to the wife is, me and Joe got into a fight. And I just wanted to apologize. which is the most like couple thing ever. Like it's I just love that that's the first thing that pops into her mind.
Yep.
It's such a it's hilarious because she has no idea, but it sounds like she has a crush on Mac. And like the mom gets what's happening here, and she's like picking up the vibes, and she's like, "Well, I'm glad she has a girlfriend like you." And that's when KJ loses it. Like she says the word, and she's like, starts like, "No, what? No, like,
What? Wait.
what? Girls are friends, and we're normal. We're normal." She's this weird peace sign thing. It's the funniest fucking response I've ever seen.
I didn't
It's
see
so
it like
cute.
that though. Wait, did she mean it as girlfriend?
I was afraid that people were going to be like, no, she meant it like girlfriend is in her friend. And I'm like, even if she did, that still to KJ is going to mean
doesn't matter.
something different.
But like, I wanted to bring that because I thought like that. But growing up, my mom and her friends would always say girlfriend like that. And on the inside, I would die. I'm like, no, they're just my friend. And like, I didn't understand that.
Uh-huh.
And like,
Yeah, that's
my
what's
inside was like,
happening.
no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
It's so
I
real.
completely understand this scene.
Yes, KJ's panic is hard. So yeah, whether the mom meant it or not, it because like the mom's like, yeah, sure, I didn't. I feel like the mom knows, but she's like, I didn't mean it that way.
Wait, see, that's
it's
what
fine,
I caught.
It's fine,
It's like,
it's fine.
I felt the mom was a little more progressive than
Me
people
too.
were going to give her
Kale
credit for.
chips and yeah, like they're the
I
progressive
feel like
family.
she knew,
She
and
knew.
she just, to me, she just assumed and was like, oh yeah, this kid is gay, like it's obvious. And
Kaitlynn, she came over on a motorcycle. Like, come on. The mom knows what's happening.
We've
like,
already
we were-
established that I don't notice stuff, okay?
But listen, like, okay, for those that were confused by this scenario, Mac doesn't live here. Mac just got here yesterday. This random girl drove a motorcycle, tracked her down to come apologize because they got in a fight. That's the most girlfriend thing I've ever heard. So,
that's
like,
the
the mom,
gayest shit ever.
it's the gayest shit ever. The mom gets that. Like, yeah. So after KJ's adorable panicking, where she's like, "Girls, we're
gay
normal
panic.
friends. We're normal friends. Peace sign, normal friends." The mom's like, yeah, sure, girl. Regular friends, whatever.
It's
It's fine, whatever, it's fine.
We
yeah,
we can play
sure.
that.
We'll play that game. We'll play that game. That's exactly what the mom's doing. She's like, sure,
Mhm.
whatever. Kale chips, sure. It's their first gay panic ever, and it's the cutest.
Because we're in the time period where the mom would totally.
Yeah.
We're in 2019 at this point.
Correct, exactly. We're not in the 80s, we're not in the 90s. Mom would understand this because that's the progressive thing that's happening with kids, and they're a progressive family. The first thing she offers her are kale chips, and KJ's like, what the hell is that? Because mom's in a different, like, area of progressives. This mom gets what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the time period changed.
But
But
also, it would be like cookies otherwise.
Yeah, or like, I love the realism. This was a great choice by the actress. When she sits down, she gets the water and guzzles it. That's so like real because of what she was just doing. So like, kudos to her.
Points.
But yeah, she gives her all this like health food, and KJ's like, "What is this?" Like, when she's being polite and taking bites because she's Miss Manor. She's like, "Okay, what is this?"
Whatever you say.
Yeah, she's in a.
That was definitely me. I'd be like, "Okay, I'll force it down."
Yeah, that's KJ. It's so cute. She's so relatable. Last thing I want to say about this scene is a PSA to straight women. Please stop calling platonic girls that are friends girlfriends.
Please
stop doing that. It's so fucking confusing and unnecessary, first of all, to gender your platonic friendships. Like, why are you doing this? Just, they're friends. Because that means something else. And when you say that to baby gays, they react like KJ. Whether or not they say it out loud, like you said, Kaitlynn, it's internal where you're like, what? No, that's not, we're just, what?
You hear the word girlfriend and you're like, what?
You panic immediately and you don't understand why you're panicking. Like, KJ doesn't know why she's panicking. She's like, I don't know why I'm panicking like this, but I'm panicking and I can't stop talking and I'm doing weird stuff. Like, this is what happens to little baby gays on the inside. Please stop doing that. It's harmful.
Well, this is what I tell people. There are people at my work that are middle-aged, we'll say, that do this in front of me, and I always make fun of them for it just because I want them to realize that you may not have been exposed to any gay culture, but we're going to have this discussion because it's a thing that happens and you can't just say shit anymore and it be totally overlooked or whatever.
Yeah.
just like realize that, and it's not a big deal. It's not a huge horrible thing that they're saying. It's just why, just why.
Why?
I understand that you
Danielle-
exist in this binary where you feel like you need to specify that it's your girlfriend and not another friend of a male gender or something, but it's not
It's not
that's
applicable
not what it
anymore.
means.
I feel like it comes from patriarchy crap where women
It
had to be like, no,
does.
my friend who's a girl. Like I wasn't hanging out with a
Yeah.
man because that's automatically romantic for straight people. It's like girlfriend, my
Exactly.
girlfriend. Yeah.
That
But-
makes sense.
Yeah.
Danielle, who does reaction videos on our channel with me,
Our one
she
straight friend.
says that. And she says a lot of things that are like patriarchal society stuff. And I'm just like,
Please stop
girl,
saying that.
no,
Unlearn
you're a
it.
strong, independent woman.
Unlearn it. No,
Stop.
it's not applicable anymore. Those words mean different things. Please stop. It is traumatizing to gay people when you say that stuff because we get confused. We're like, what do you mean? Like what like yeah, please stop doing that. Stop gendering your platonic friendships. They're just friends. Just friends. PSA.
If you really feel the need to let people know what their gender is, if they've got a gender specific name, use that. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend Karen.
My friend Julie.
I feel like Janet from The Good Place whenever my mom
Hello.
introduced like, so this is Kaitlynn, and her and her girlfriend went and did this. I'm like, not my girlfriend. So
Yeah,
like,
not a girl.
like, not a girl, just not my girlfriend.
Okay, really funny that you mentioned Janet. I was like thinking about in preparation for this episode. I'm like, I feel like we're gonna bring up Janet from The Good Place at some point. I just have this feeling. Darcy Carden is coming up in this episode. She's not even in this. So thanks, Kaitlynn. I predicted in my brain we were gonna do this, but not here. So I love it. But yeah,
But why? Oh, is there another part?
it's
of
another
this?
part. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Back to amazing. Sorry.
She is amazing, and we will gush about her in a different episode, not about paper girls. But back to KJ's rescuing Mac mission. So after the pirate shows up, KJ gets the fuck out of there and gets on her super gay motorcycle and goes to the Chili's and interrupts Mac's. This scene was super heartbreaking, but she interrupts Mac and Dylan's like big "I love you" heartfelt hug. And it's so sad because like Mac is finally like getting the love she deserves and gonna live the life she always wanted, and it gets ripped away from her like by KJ, like in Mac's mind. And but I love though that like Mac tries to resist her and she's like, no, like no. But KJ, when it comes to Mac, she doesn't back down when it comes to Mac. She's like the only one who like just gets through to Mac, and she's persistent about it. And she's like, no, like that scary woman was at your brother's house. She's coming to kill us and she's going to kill them. Like that's what's going to happen here. Like this is too important. I'm sorry, but you have to come with me. Like I know you hate me right now, but you have to come with me. And it's so sad. And I love that it's KJ's that's the one who gets through to Mac constantly. Like they kind of do that for each other, which is really sweet. And because like again, this scene is not from the comics. This was just for the show, and I love that it's the two of them in the scene. And just
Mac was finally like starting to accept like, okay, I could do this. Like
I know. It's just so heartbreaking.
And her brother was talking about adopting her.
Yeah, like she was
kind of weird, but like at the same time has to happen
legally, to take care of her. Yeah, and it's so sad, and she has no time to really process this. She just gets ripped out of it, so that when they're on the bike ride back, we get these beautiful shot. This beautiful shot.
It's so sad, but so beautiful and
well done. And it's just not a word is spoken, and it's just KJ focused on getting them back in time so they don't get left behind. And Mac just breaks down. Like, and just is hugging KJ and there's like crying on her shoulder. And after a minute, like KJ realizes what's happening and she's like, oh shit. Like, and it's just not a word is spoken, but it's so like monumental
because you have person she could be vulnerable in front of. Like, that's huge.
Exactly. Like, because even with Dylan, she wasn't fully vulnerable with Dylan. She still kept walls up. They were starting to come down, like with the hug with Dylan. That was like, so she was just so exposed and just stays that way with KJ. She doesn't put the walls back up yet. Like it's very significant for Mac, who like never puts her walls down.
Also, she went from like hugging Dylan and she's like, well, you're still a safe person for me. I just will fall to you. Like, I need someone there for me right now. And she never had that
Yeah,
Yep.
and I love that like KJ doesn't say anything. She just lets Mac cry.
Yep.
Because like Mac is somebody like who doesn't cry a lot. Like I'm like that too. I don't really cry a lot until like when I get to that point, I don't want to fucking talk about it. And like
Mm-hmm.
neither does Mac. And like I think KJ understands that and just like sees it and is just like let her cry.
If
Yeah.
KJ would have said something, Max Walls would have gone right up.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think KJ kind of understands that. I feel like she's somebody too who doesn't cry a lot or doesn't have people who comfort her. So kind of, you know, that darkness in KJ, she kind of gets this and just
they're perfect for each other.
they're very cute. They're a lot of these characters are very good, like complementary personalities to each other.
Yeah.
And I that's why I love the dynamic of all four of them. They all kind of play off each other in these really complicated ways that is just it's very beautiful, like to watch these characters interact with each other.
I also feel like Mac did realize that she didn't belong.
I know. It
That
wasn't her time kind of thing.
it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know.
It's all Wilder's fault.
while
it
she's
really it is. This is a Wilder hate podcast.
while she's processing everything on the back of that motorcycle, it's just like
Yeah.
what do you do? There's nothing you can do. Just
I
let
know.
it
It's
all.
also her being pulled from that life. She's like, that was the last chance for me to have a taste of what the future could have been.
Yeah.
She's like, well, now I will never know.
She's just going back to the situation, and it's sad.
Yeah, her character is so like ironically
I
horribly tragic.
I wish we got like at least a little bit of a scene of Dylan realizing like where is she? Like I kind of want to see like the aftermath of all that.
Oh my god!
I feel like he would in season 2,
unless they erase his like Pyrus was in there
True.
and like erases his memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
True
think
that.
if she well, who knows? She may not have had time because she saw the motorbike and was like, "Fuck, I gotta get them." So maybe she didn't, and I feel like Dylan. I mean, at first when he sees Mac, he's like, he can't believe what's happening, and then he finally is like, "All right, this is actually you're real. This is real. I'm not gonna fuck this up." Like, I think that he wouldn't give up on. He would search for her forever. Like that would traumatize him all over again. Where he's like, "I'm not losing my sister again. I'm gonna look everywhere. Missing persons." Like he would check the news. Like he would lose it.
I think his current life would probably fall apart.
I think so too. He would become obsessed with finding his sister. Yeah. I think this would ruin him.
That's
actually.
a really someone can write that fanfiction.
If you want to cry, go write that.
I mean, yeah, but like
I want the horse
there's
one.
so much that could be done there as well.
I know. It's
just not in the.
I'm sorry, I'm not here for that torture porn.
Yeah, and then Wilder would show up, and I don't,
I was just saying, like, it would be a story, guys. I didn't say it was for everyone.
No, I'm with you, Kaitlynn.
I don't like when the two of them are against me.
No, we're not against you. Dylan is. I love the way they did older Dylan. He's so interesting, and just I love the evolution of their relationship and how it's shown. Yeah, I don't think Dylan would ever. His life would fall apart. He wouldn't give up on his sister a second time. He never actually did.
Yeah.
There's one more. Okay, before we leave the chili scene and jump on over to like young KJ meeting old KJ, I want to go. I want to say one last thing about this chili scene that I just think is hilarious. So when Pyrus shows up and like goes into the restaurant and was like approaching Dylan and then sees them on the motorbike, she turns and runs and gets the fuck out of there. And deliberately runs into this poor service worker who's carrying dishes. And I'm like, girl, you didn't need to knock that person over. That person does not get paid enough for this. She purposely runs into them instead of going to the door. And justice for service workers is all I'm saying. That was not, I don't care what time you're in. That is not cool. You treat them with respect.
Not cool at all. Don't do that, dickhead.
Right. I was like, why did you have to, the door was, come on now, Pyrus. That's fucked up.
Idris, Pyrus, whatever your goddamn name is.
I know. Indra/Pyrus.
I feel like Indra's easier to say.
It really is.
Can we petition to change her name to Indra?
Oh my. Well, I can't wait. I need to get into baby gay land.
All right. So we're going to get to probably the biggest comic book deviation that there is, and that's young KJ and old KJ. Because in the comics, we never see old KJ at all. We see a version of KJ who's older, but it
Mhm.
isn't actually her. It's like, I'm not even going to get into it, but like
Yeah.
all of this, none of this happens at all. KJ never learns her future. Never. So we don't actually know what happens to her. So all of this was manufactured for the show, and it is the most brilliant choice I have ever seen in anything. And this is what made me fall in love with the show, was this, because it's so brilliant.
It is.
It is. So where does it start? So this is all on episode 4. They end up in 1999, and it's this 4th of July party happening at KJ's house. So we all get to like literally step inside the mansion that, quote unquote, that KJ lives in. Everybody gets to walk in her life. And KJ, it takes her a while to finally like go in, because I think KJ doesn't really want to see her future, because there's a line with when she's talking to Aaron when she's hatching the Rescue Mac plan, when Aaron's like, why aren't you curious about your future? You're the only one who doesn't say anything. And KJ has this really heartbreaking sentiment where she's basically like, because I'm not curious about my future, because if my mother got her way, like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my future, the one that my mom's planning for me. I don't want to see myself. What she's basically saying is I know I'm going to be unhappy if my mom gets her way, and I don't want to see that. Like there's no hope for my future kind of thing. She just feels like the future's a lost cause. It's out of her control, mama's control in her life. So she really hesitates before going in here. And so keeping that in mind, I love how this unfolds, because KJ sees herself, well, and hides. She grabs Mac because lesbian and hides, and is watching her older self talk to this preppy dude, this douchebag kind of looking dude. And Mac comments that like, oh, she's like, hey, she's, not a hockey freak, like not what I was expecting. But KJ doesn't seem surprised by any of this. She's like, this is what my mom wanted. Like, see, I see the way I'm dressed. I'm talking to this guy. I hate this guy. And she keeps saying it out loud, like, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. Like, she doesn't know this guy, but hates him. And especially when Mac's like, oh, that guy really wants you. And she's like, no. Like,
No.
I'm reacting badly to this, and I don't know why quite yet. But I hate everything about this. My mom got her way. And it really like escalates when mom shows up to old KJ. And she's like, oh, isn't she so pretty? And like, don't you want to date her? Is basically mom's trying to like auction off her daughter to this like entitled white dude. And what I love is that older KJ starts cringing. She's like, oh, nope. Because you can see older KJ's not happy. Mom has her influence, and she just starts being like, we don't have to, like, you don't have to be polite. Don't have to be polite. Like, really, like, leave me alone, dude. Leave me alone. And older KJ makes this excuse. She's like, I need to check on my friend, which is code for girlfriend. if you're gay, you're like, my friend who's not down here. And she's like, I'm going to go. Like, bye. And what I really, really love about this whole interaction here is that what's happening really is like old KJ is like acting the way mom wants her to act. But young KJ is giving us older KJ's like inner monologue. Like she's saying all the things out loud that she can't say when she's trapped in these positions.
Mm-hmm.
So like older KJ's like, I hate this guy. And younger KJ's sitting there, I fucking hate this guy. She's saying what's in older KJ's brain. So I love the way they're doing this, because what it seems like KJ's life doesn't change. Like it's all the fucking same. Like she's still keeping up appearances like mama taught her, and she's miserable doing it. Like you can see older KJ doing these things where she like looks away and she's like, I hate this. Like, and younger KJ's voicing out loud how older KJ feels. So it seems like they're on the same page, the way like younger Tiff and older Tiff were kind of very similar. But later KJ finds out that's not really the case. Like she's doing that because she's still playing nice with mom is basically what's still happening, but she fucking still hates it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's beautiful. Like them watching it is so.
Yes.
That's why it's so meta in a way.
Yes.
That's the part where I really enjoyed the time travel aspect of the show, was this very moment where young KJ is like, "Nope, nope, nope,
Nope. Nope.
gay, gay." And older KJ in her head is like, "Gay, gay, gay, gay,
Gay, gay,
gay,
gay,
gay,
gay, gay. Yeah.
gay."
Literally. But younger KJ doesn't have the language for that yet. So she's just like,
Exactly.
I fucking hate this. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
She keeps
Yep.
saying it. She's like, no, I fucking hate that guy. And younger and older KJ's like, oh, my girlfriend's upstairs. I wish I was upstairs.
He's like, could be making out with girlfriend,
Yes,
not
but I'm
fucking to this
here.
douchebag.
Mhm.
Do we know if the parents know that she's gay, or
Would her mother be doing this if she was? No, I'm pretty sure KJ hides that from her.
Yeah.
well,
I'm
I mean,
pretty
I just didn't know if like she knew, but she was still trying to push guys on her.
Well, I mean, that could very well be, but
That could be. I don't know.
I feel like at this point,
I feel
KJ
like
would have told.
I also feel like if that was the case, Lauren would not be allowed in that house.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know? That mama seems like the type that would be like, no, she's the one that made you gay. She's not
Mhm.
allowed in my house. Like,
You're
mom gives
very
me that
right.
energy, you know?
Mhm.
Yep. That is totally
Yeah.
how I see it too. So I really, totally under the. She's in the closet to
Yeah.
her family.
For mama, she's in the closet. I feel like in New York, she's like,
Yeah, in New
"Woo!"
York,
the
she's
parades,
gay
like,
all
yeah.
day.
She found her people. Like, you know.
In New York, she's got the big gay energy.
She's got so much.
I mean, she's
does
got the
have
big gay energy everywhere, but
She does.
just
Mhm.
like she
Even as a
doesn't.
baby.
I know.
I know.
God damn.
It's so good. I love her. She's so relatable.
Yeah. So that scene, I giggled my way through that scene.
Me too.
I
I'm
loved
like,
every moment inside of KJ's house. I'll just put it that way.
KJ's dog, like
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay, first that has nothing to do with the gay stuff, and I wasn't even gonna bring this up, but that would break my heart to be like
Same.
my dog at the end of their life. Like she had
Yep.
her as a puppy, and then jumps 10 years in the future, and you're like,
Mhm.
you're all old and like struggling to walk, and now I'm so sad. But I love that the dog is like KJ. Like the dog knows her. Like
Yeah.
so cute.
Mom!
Mommy! It's so cute.
I'd have the
Okay.
Doge.
But I love that you said that this was so meta. Like honestly, like yes, this is the thing I appreciate. Like I like the time travel fighting stuff is cool or whatever. I like it more so in just this. The planes are here. The storytelling aspect because you get to see these like interactions that wouldn't be possible any other time. It's so cool. Can you hear the planes?
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's Fleet Week, everyone. Look it up.
Welcome to Fleet Week.
Welcome to Fleet Week. It's starting later than normal, so you're gonna hear. Essentially, there are fighter jets flying over my house, and you're just gonna keep hearing them. I can't control them. Call your congressman, I guess, or the military. Anyway, so
Your congressman.
all right, so we're gonna leave the downstairs party if that's cool with you guys, and go upstairs.
Yes.
All right, so this is
That's
KJ.
the part where we wanted to go to.
This is where we wanted to. Yes. So KJ's curiosity gets the better of her when she's finally in the house, and she's like, "What is my life? What is my life?" Because it already looks terrible. And she ends up going up the stairs to where her bedroom is. And as she's doing that, she passes like I love the setup because she passes all these pictures of herself. It's her playing field hockey, which is like the only picture where she genuinely looks happy. Then it's her in the bat mitzvah dress, the one that was hanging in the closet. And then it's her with a boy at prom. So she's getting all these pictures of like, fuck, my mom got exactly what she wanted. Like she's seeing it in this hallway. She's like, my mom, this is what my mom always said my life was gonna be. She picked my clothes. Crap, I'm really living her life. Like, fuck. And then she goes to her room also to hide, to be like her safe place in the house, probably was her room. And she's like, I need to go to my room.
Yep.
And then she goes to her room and first of all, the first thing you see is this La Femme Nikita poster in her room.
I know, it was the first thing I was like,
right? And like these are movies that don't exist. And KJ's room did not have posters on it, so she's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Wait,
and she's trying to figure out what it is because she doesn't know what La Femme Nikita is, other than like, "Girl, you gay." Like that's what
that's what it means.
Wait, hold on. What is that?
It's a
It's
movie.
a TV show.
Oh, was it?
It was both.
I think hers was the movie poster, but
Hers
yeah, it was
the
a TV
movie
show
poster.
Yeah.
I just figured that Kaitlynn may be more familiar
Right.
with the TV show.
I know nothing.
A femme fatale.
So the movie was better, obviously, but there's a movie and a TV show. The TV show is more widely known.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's a thing. If you, it was a gay thing when we were
I'm
growing
using
up.
Google. Go ahead.
Goog.
All right, Kaitlynn, educate. All right, so then she goes into the room, and as she's staring at this poster, trying to figure out what's happening, the camera pans, and we see there's somebody else in the room, and it's Lauren, who's KJ's future girlfriend. So again, the meta shit happening here too is like crazy, and I love it. And basically, we never get KJ's backstory, and I love the choice. Instead of like with Tiffany and Aaron, where they get their backstory from themselves, KJ never gets that. She gets her future read to her by her future girlfriend. And I love this choice. Lauren is adorable, and I love this choice. And Lauren basically tells her that like KJ took control of her life. Like eventually you take control of your life. You go to NYU. You don't go to business school like your mom said. You follow your passion, which is movies. And you don't do things exactly the way your mother wanted. So like, even though KJ is currently downstairs, like keeping up appearances for mom at mom's party for the neighbors to like put on airs or whatever, you actually got out of here and went and made your own life. And like, KJ can't even believe this. She's like, what? Like, I love when she's like, do you like movies? And KJ's like, I guess so.
Yeah, it's like,
I guess. Like, because watching movies wasn't clearly a thing when she was younger, and she's like, I didn't really think about this as a career because mom was just like, you're gonna go to business school and all this, and she's like, I guess, like, because I end up making movies, like, I guess this is what I wanted. So it's like she's learning all this stuff about herself that she never thought was even possible, and is kind of trying to process that. And then she's like, okay, I need to get out of here for a minute. And Lauren's like, hey, you want to come to the movies with me and KJ? Because we're going to go watch this like artsy movie that's going to make you love film, basically. It's why I loved film. Come see it. Which, again, they have shared interests, so it's because they're dating, so it's going to make sense. Like, she's going to love it too. So I love that. And KJ's like, being polite. She's like, I have to ask my parents. Which is such a 12-year-old thing to do. And she like politely backs out of there, and she's like, I hope to see your name on a poster one day. Which is so fucking cute.
It is adorable.
It's so cute. It's so like
I love
polite.
her.
I know. It's so polite, but also like, again, it's you telling your future girlfriend, I hope you make it one day. Like, it's just, the meta thing is super cute too. Like, KJ's just consciously like nice to her and has no idea why. It's adorable.
And then
KJ tries to leave, and then older KJ is coming up the stairs. So she's like, fuck, I don't want to meet me. Fuck this. And hides. Because, like, again, KJ's progression is like, she gets to the precipice of figuring out what's happening and then kind of like retreats and processes, and that's what keeps happening with her. So she's like, fuck this.
They also shouldn't be meeting themselves.
I agree.
Have we learned nothing from Legends of Tomorrow?
No. Well, it didn't come out yet in 1989 or 88, so they don't know what's going on. 1989.
99.
And 99. So, all right. So KJ hides in the bathroom. So I love that you said that the bathroom is like your safe place. KJ runs in the bathroom. And like, okay, again, she doesn't want to meet herself, but she's like, I'm going to watch this. Because what am I really like when I'm away from my mom? Because clearly I'm different. And she watches herself interact with Lauren. And it's the cutest, like, flirting shit that starts happening, like, full-on flirting. And then they start making out. And KJ's like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? And locks herself in the bathroom, and then goes through the 5 stages of gay grief, like, in real time.
All up and down.
Yeah, the actress, again, Fina nails it. She takes up the whole space in the bathroom. She, like, falls in the corner, and it's like, what the fuck? And starts pacing, and goes to the, like, she takes up all that space, and, like, this is so real. Like, the way she, like, plays it out is so real.
Very accurate.
It's so accurate, and I love the choice that they, like, when she gets to the mirror and, like, looks at herself, they let her really play it out. And it's like everything slows down when she's looking at herself. Because before that, she's like, this can't be real. This can't be real. And then she, like, looks at herself in the mirror, and her breaths start, like, evening out a bit, and she starts calming down, and you start seeing, like, the wheels turning as she thinks about it, and she's like, fuck, like, is this why I don't fit in? Like, there's some truth to this. Like, I feel like there's some truth to that. And I love that they really let her process and sit in it, because oftentimes when characters, like young characters or characters, are having their first like gay realization kind of moment, it's always just like immediate panic and then it like goes away. But like they really let KJ sit in it and like have that initial freak out and then like slow down for a minute and be like, huh, shit, no, this kind of makes sense. You know? Like you can like see it on her face, her being like, fuck, yeah, wait, yeah.
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 Yeah, that's clicking into place. That's clicking into place.
Yeah.
There are just like little pieces of her life that keep falling.
Exactly what happens too.
Exactly.
Like, oh.
You're like, okay, so that's why that, and that's why that.
Yeah, you know when you have all those...
I still have those moments right
Yes, and you're like, oh, yeah, that was really gay that I was doing. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense.
When I told you about holding the hands with the girl at soccer and getting in trouble.
That's what KJ's remembering. She's like, that's why I like that girl on my field hockey team a little too much. Like, you know, she's having those thoughts and she's like, fuck, that's why I hated that guy downstairs. Like,
that's why when everyone talks about boys, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't fit in with that. Oh, I hated it.
Yeah.
Remember having those conversations with people and you're like, I don't get this.
My mom always brings up when I shoved a kid on the playground for trying to kiss me.
It's like, they're so, oh my god, he's so cute. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine, what the fuck ever. I mean, he's got a face.
I was like, I thought something was wrong with me because I'm like, all the girls are saying like this kid is cute and I'm just like, no.
I never even thought there was anything wrong with me so much as I was just like, okay, sure, and I'm not analyzing that. Goodbye.
Well, I got to like high school and I'm like, why don't I like anybody?
Okay, and that's so real, and this is why having representation like this matters so fucking much, because that's what KJ's process is. She's like, something's wrong with me and I don't know what it is. And here she's like, oh, not that there's anything wrong. Well, at first she's like, oh, is it wrong? But like, she's like, but it feels right. Like, I look happy. I think that's the thing that really gets to her. She's like, I look happy with her. I'm happy. Like, and when you understand,
and I love it.
Yeah, but like for so many people, like especially like think about it. KJ's from like she's growing up in like the 90s basically as a kid, 80s, 90s. There's no representation for KJ. KJ wouldn't know this is okay. That's why it's like she probably had no idea until she went to New York, where it's more of an artsy place, where more queer people are. That's where Stonewall happened. There's more queer representation happening there.
Kaitlynn.
Kaitlynn. And so KJ probably wasn't exposed to this as an option for herself until she went to film school and was like, oh, there's other people like me. And probably met Lauren and was like, oh, you're like me. This is okay. Like, this is why, like, being exposed to this and seeing kids process this and, like, that it's okay. This is an option is so fucking important. And, yeah.
Screw all the people who don't think it is.
Yeah, it matters.
I love that.
I love it.
Okay, so my whole gay realization was because of a crush on another person. And that's sort of the case for a lot of people. But what I love is that KJ gets the gay realization because of KJ. Just KJ.
That's so true. That's herself.
KJ gets to see herself making out with a girl in the future and is like, so that's another layer of what the fuck?
Yeah, it's literally, that's me doing that. That's me.
Yeah, that's me.
It's
Wait
not,
a minute.
am I gay? It's, okay.
I'm gay. Fuck. Okay, and I have to pause here and say, this is something that actually does happen in the comics, in which KJ's realization is KJ seeing KJ being gay and being like, fuck, I'm gay. But instead of like all the stuff with Lauren, KJ sees herself kissing Mac and is like, oh shit.
They just immediately put them together.
Yeah, and then, KJ is like, oh, okay, so I'm a lesbian. And there's no processing it. She's just like, so that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's
and
gonna
then
happen.
later, she's just like, and then later, no, that we'll go to that one later, but she just like fully accepts it, like, okay, I'm gay.
It's kind of weird. So I, again, prefer this because the addition of Lauren was brilliant. Sorry, the fucking planes. The addition of Lauren is really brilliant, and the fact that we have the scene in the bathroom where KJ is processing this. I feel like that's something that gets glossed over with queer stuff a lot, is processing shit. It's just leapfrogging right into the drama of like homophobia and like what does it mean and my parents hate me, and it's like you never get to see them like process this. Like this is I thought the scene was so unique and beautiful and well done, and it's so important like to just
Oh,
see her be like, okay,
it's my favorite scene
okay.
in the whole series.
It's so fucking good. This, yeah, I agree. This is
Yeah,
actually
this
me
is
too.
the best scene.
This is the best scene, and I love the next scene we're about to go into because the movie theater scene.
I love that. Like that's yeah.
It's okay. Anything
Oh,
else
it's
about
okay.
adorable.
Okay,
I
are
don't
we-
know which one. Actually, I don't know which one I like more
I know.
because just let's get into it.
I know. I just again the addition of Lauren, like I just love it so much.
I love Lauren.
I love Lauren. Okay,
So appreciative of her.
now we're gonna go to the movie theater scene. Everything about this scene is absolutely brilliant as well. So kudos to whoever came up with this. It is just everything. So again, at this point, KJ still has no idea how her life is really going to turn out the way it does. She just understands things happen, like film school, girlfriend, but she doesn't understand like why it's happening or like how. So she's like still curious about herself because in her life she's trapped and miserable and she feels very doomed. But she's saying like maybe I'm not so doomed. And so she goes into this movie theater, and when she first gets in there, like actually in the theater where it's playing, she looks like terrified and excited all at once. At this point, KJ doesn't fully understand how she's going to grow up to be this lesbian in film school. So she's like, how did I get here? What is going on? So she goes to the movie theater, like takes Lauren up on her offer, goes to see the Kubrick movie. And when she gets in the theater, like where it's playing, she looks terrified and excited because again that's like the future, right? The future is terrifying and excited, just all at once on her face. And she sees herself, future self, sitting with Lauren, and she sits behind them, like doesn't go up to them, and just is like kind of still observing because she's still like, how do I get here? She doesn't
I would
fully
do that too.
Yeah, it's weird.
Also,
it's
you wouldn't join yourself. But...
No, KJ's the only one who understands time travel. You don't go sit with yourself. Don't do that. But like again,
don't bunk in the room with them. Don't.
Just don't. If you're gonna go, sit in the back. But I love that they do this because it gives you some really cool shots of just like KJ. Again, you see so much about old KJ and young KJ, and they never actually interact with each other. So this was a good film wise. This is a really good choice. And so at first, when she sits down, she's not there for the movie. She's watching herself and Lauren. Like she's fixated on that because again, she's like, "What the fuck? How?" And older KJ is like being cute with Lauren. She's like putting her arm over her shoulder and they're like snuggling in the dark. And like KJ's being the one that initiates it. So she's being like affectionate, like out like in the dark. And immediately younger KJ is watching this and starts panicking like she did before. She starts having those really quick panicked breaths like she did in the bathroom. But then she looks up from them and actually watches the movie. And as she's doing this, like the music starts swelling and young KJ starts becoming absorbed in the movie. And you can see this shift occurring on her face because she's starting to connect with the film and ultimately becomes like very swept up in the art. And by the time we like cut back to her in this movie theater, she is just fully engrossed in the movie. Like she's not even watching herself, like she is watching this movie. And there's a shot of just like from the front of the stage, and you can see that young KJ and old KJ are both like engrossed in this movie. Like they're having the same like experience with this art. Like you can see it, like that they're the same person. They're connecting with this art. And to me, I thought that was so relatable because like that's literally why we have this podcast, because having like a connection with art is just so, it's such a human thing and it's so beautiful. And I love that you just see the two sides of KJ having this experience at the same time with the movie. It's incredible. And in that moment you're like, that's how young KJ becomes old KJ. Like you can like see the transition happening. It's so cool.
Yep. And I wanted more, selfishly wanted more of, I just want an entire story of KJ. Is that?
No, I want it too.
I mean, we all want
I
it.
want
Let's
it.
be real.
I
But
literally
I
just want a
want
story about her.
I want the whole story of future KJ,
Yes.
and I want the story of how KJ seeing future KJ affects KJ's
Literally.
time
Yeah.
loop.
Seriously. Because like I love the KJ and Mac stuff, but I also love KJ and Lauren. I
Yeah,
love
like
Lauren.
that's my thing. Is like I don't want
I
her.
love Lauren.
I want Lauren more.
Me too. I'm like, I kind of want her to end up with Lauren because I love
Yeah,
Lauren.
I kind of do. I can't lie. Like
Yeah,
I just,
Same.
Lauren is so
Oh,
sweet.
she's so sweet.
I just
Oh
feel
my God.
like I feel like they would have a
Old-
more
okay,
healthy
so-
relationship.
Me too.
No, KJ can have Mac until about 17 and a half. And then after that, you
They
gotta
break
move
up.
on.
They
Yeah.
break up. She goes to New York, long distance is hard, and then she meets
I
Lauren.
mean, who knows? Maybe KJ's first film is about Mac.
That would be
Because
super cool,
technically, at
actually.
this point, Mac is gone too.
Yes, Mac has been gone for.
Or about the I think KJ's first film should be about realizing how the fuck gay she is. And Mac's role in that.
I mean, yeah, I would watch that also. So there's a sequel to KJ, is her actual movie. Come on, somebody pick this up. Like, I want all of these things. All of them. Come on.
Just give Fina her own show, basically.
She just nails this part. It's so crazy how good. Again, crazy good actors.
Just give her
Someone
all the
I
gay
would love
roles.
to talk to. I want to know what she thinks. Damn it.
Me too.
Yes,
Seriously.
I want us to talk to her so bad.
Me
and
too.
I'm trying,
We're trying, guys. We're trying.
Tweet her. Oh yeah, tweet her for us, please.
Yes. Please come talk to
And
us.
if for some reason we do get her before then, we'll put a note in here.
Please don't tweet her.
Don't leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Okay, so then we get to the big scene after the movie experience ends. And this scene is just the actual cutest, and it's KJ's big toss with Lauren, and everything about this is just perfection. And I love that KJ exits the movie first and is just creepily waiting for them to come out. Like, she's playing with a pamphlet. She's like, come on. And once again, she waits for older self to get the fuck out of there. And she's witnessing another scene where like older KJ is being like affectionate with Lauren. Like, she almost like leans in like she's gonna kiss her, but then it's like, oh shit, we're in public. And then goes to the bathroom. And Lauren's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get food. So she gets another glimpse of like, I'm so fucking happy in the future. Like, she's like seeing it play out. It's like so many times. And again, I just feel like happiness is such a rarity for young KJ. She's just like so fixated on this, and I think that's what's really drawing her into this like story. She's like, wow, I'm happy. I can't believe this. I keep seeing it. And so she needs to know, how do I get here? So she goes to Lauren and she like awkwardly is like, hey, hey, it's fucking cute. It's such a kid thing. She's like, hey, like, I don't want to bother you, but I need to talk to you. And Lauren is like the sweetest human being on the planet. You're like, hey.
I was like, hi, can I ask a question?
It's just such a nervous hello. And she, like, again, Miss Polite, like, there's small talk about the movie. And I want to note this dialogue because I think it's important that this precedes what they're about to talk about. And Lauren asks her, like, oh, well, you came to the movie. What did you think of it? And KJ says, well, at first I was kind of confused, but then I stopped thinking about it. And I listened to the music, I watched what was on the screen, and it was really beautiful. And she's putting into words like this religious experience you can have like with art. But I think she's also talking about the process of realizing you're gay. That's what this, because the whole thing, they use movie as a metaphor. And this dialogue is indicating what they're exactly about to start talking about. And Lauren, again, as another queer woman, echoes this because she had the same experience. She's like, it's a movie. You cannot comment logically. You just have to let the experience wash over you. And that's exactly what realizing you're gay is. It's like, you can think through it as much as you want, but at some point you just have to stop and feel it and just be like, okay.
And the feeling after you just feel better.
Yeah, and that's what Yes, exactly. And again, movie is code for being queer, and they use that the whole rest of this conversation. And I want I added a discussion point here before we get into the rest of it to like, okay, so is this what you guys kind of felt like when you were like coming out or coming to terms with it? Like sometimes like for me, like it was a lot of like internal processing and almost having this feeling of being like trapped in your own head because you don't really have anybody else to talk to about it because it's like big and scary and like at the time like it was frowned upon. I mean, it's still frowned upon in certain circles and you're just like so you're just like spiraling with your own thoughts, right? And you're like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Like, is this what it is? Is this what it is? And I don't know. Did you guys like kind of
Yeah,
go
no,
through?
it's exactly
Yes.
like that. I'll get into more on my episode topic because we have to kind of save these stories.
Okay.
I was a weird. Mine was just weird because it was taking place at a time where there was a lot going on, but it was more. I don't know that I had the outright fear. I kept it in my head because I knew I couldn't say it out loud. But I don't know, in a way, once I realized that that was the truth, it gave me a lot of peace. And so I didn't need to say it out loud yet.
Mhm.
Um, the scary parts came afterwards when things happened, like my roommate, college roommate, trying to save me and other things that I'll talk about at a later date. But that's when the fear came, when it had to be public, or when someone guessed that that was what was going on
Yeah.
and then acted okay, but secretly stabbed me in the back about it. So that's when that came, and thank fucking goodness that the mutual friends that we had basically told her to stop being a dickhead. It was like, and we're like, so what? Like, I like that's first of all, one thing you're saying isn't true, and secondly, so what? Gay, it's fine if she's gay. Just like that's not a problem. So she didn't get the response that she wanted from our mutual friends.
Good for your mutual friends.
And so
Yeah.
she sought people out on our campus that were more
Like minded.
like-minded, fundamental. She it was like in the I'm like, you pick the dumbest people to lie about me too, because these are like the two most um open-minded and kind of, I mean, like my friend Kelly wore crazy bowling shirts every day to school, and like
I
these
love it.
shiny ass patent leather like shoes, and like fancy 50s men's clothes and shit. I'm like, you picked the wrong people.
I fucking love that.
Mine
So
was yeah, go ahead.
no, I was like, so that's I I think the fear is so relatable, but I didn't have that feeling of this is wrong to me and
Mhm.
my body. I just had the feeling of that explains things. And I guess in my brain I'm just like, fuck ever, like I know what I am and I don't feel wrong, so I'm not wrong. I don't know where that came from, but I still had it at 16, 17.
I mean, at least that's good that you thought that.
Yeah.
Mine was definitely internalized, and even once I realized, I could not say it out loud. It took me so long. It was a very long journey, and I'll get into it in
The,
2 episodes from now. I think it'll be
But like
maybe.
that's definitely what's happening here like with KJ. It's very much like again the first step is like admitting it to yourself. And once you do that, you're kind of in this better like emotional place because like Bree said you're like, "Oh, that all makes sense." And I love the metaphor that Lauren gives her. It's like being and what we saw with the movie, it's like being swept up in a piece of art. Like once you just let it wash over you and you're like, "Wow, this makes sense and this is really beautiful." And like I'm happy now. Like that's kind of KJ's journey. But then later in a later scene, like when KJ like has to say it out loud, like that's a struggle. That's a different kind of struggle. So like the first struggle is like making sense of it to yourself and then communicating it to other people. That's a different problem. And people process that very differently. So I love that they show both facets of KJ in her journey, because it's not a one thing. It's not just one light bulb goes off and you're like, oh, that's it. Here, I'm gay. It is a process, and there's multiple steps in this process, and it's such a cute kid thing because she like seeks out an adult. Like she's always like, we should ask adults, and so she does go try to ask an adult. Like what, like, and she finally, like when she gets the courage to ask Lauren, like the really reason she's there, like she's never said anything like this out loud before. It's so obvious, and she's just trying to be so brave. And she's just like, when did you know? Because she's like, I see me doing this, but like, how do I know that this is real? Like when do you know this? Like when? And Lauren doesn't really understand what she's getting at, and KJ tries again, and that's when she's like, when did you know you were someone who liked, and she's so fucking nervous she still can't say it. Yeah. So she says movies. Instead of saying, when did you know you were someone who liked girls? She just says movies. Cause like she can't even say it. Like that's scary. Like
The way she said that, Fina, you're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's
She brought it all through.
Her voice acting is
It
so
could have not
good.
landed, and she was so perfect.
Yeah,
facial expression and everything.
Yes, it just, everything she does conveys exactly what that feels like. Trying to say it and you can't. And so immediately she gets nervous and starts panicking, and then Lauren's like, movies, got it. I understand what's happening. Like, to Lauren's credit, she picks up exactly what's going on with little KJ, and she's like, okay. And what I love here is that like Lauren, first she starts to talk and then she stops herself. So I feel like Lauren is about to launch into a story to be like, well, when I was young, but then she stops herself because like this conversation is not about Lauren, this conversation is about KJ. So instead of doing that, she goes along with the movie metaphor that KJ brings up, which is so sweet because again, she's not, clearly this kid feels like, is afraid and can't even voice this out loud. So she's like, gets on her level and she's like, okay, movies. When did I know I liked movies? How can I frame this in a way that goes with your metaphor to this little child? And her answer is so perfect and poignant. And she just says, the good news is that everyone moves at their own pace. And it can be overwhelming, but every person's journey is different, you know? A lot of people are not going to understand at first. And this is when like Lauren's voice changes and she starts getting really passionate and into it. And she's like, but one day, like, you're going to find a movie that you really connect with. And it feels really, 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 really good. Just try to listen to that. Like, she's basically telling her, like, follow your feelings and like trust what you feel. Like in the movie, don't think about it so much. Just feel it and like let it wash over you. That's exactly what she's saying. Like the choice of words here are so fantastic.
It's just good.
It's
I have
so
nothing. Like it's just so.
It's so
and it's
good.
funny because she's already done that.
Yeah, literally. But okay, I love the choice that it's Lauren instead of KJ telling KJ this, because older KJ can just be like, listen, when you're 13, you're gonna kiss some girl, and like, and mom's gonna get mad, and like she can tell her the whole exactly what's gonna happen. But Lauren's just like, trust your feelings. That's all she tells her. Just trust your feelings, and you know, people are not going to understand at first, but like it's going to feel great. And I also love that it's Lauren, because Lauren is basically talking about KJ in this scene. Also, it's just the meta here is so fucking cute because like she lights up when she's with KJ. It's adorable. Like everything about this is so sweet. It's so cute.
It's more natural for it to be Lauren too, because
I agree.
We don't get the complication.
Can I reach out to Lauren?
Please. Yeah. I love this actress was so fucking good.
She was half the reason this worked. Come on.
Yes. No, I agree.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The addition of Lauren, her speech was just everyone who's questioning themselves needs to hear that about anything. Listen to this speech. Like it's so applicable to so many things. It's like, I don't want to do what my parents want me to do. Listen to this speech. Like people are not going to understand, like, but listen to how you feel. Like it's your life kind of thing. And if you love it, you connect with it. It's going to feel really good. Listen to that. Like it's universal, like what she says. It's so, whoever wrote this, give them an award for this. Like, this writing was on point.
I want to know what happens if I would like to have seen Lauren figure it out, or Lauren know that she's talking to young KJ, but not until after she gives her all the good advice.
Me too. That's the one weird thing. She's like,
Also,
this looks like my girlfriend.
how did Lauren not bring up to adult KJ after the party, like, oh, I met your cousin?
This cousin?
They were too busy having gay sex. Come on.
At the party, older KJ was distracting Lauren, and so that didn't come up. I feel like after this movie theater, she told her, she's like, hey, your cousin was just here. And she's like, what the fuck, cousin?
What? I don't have a cousin.
Yeah, exactly. It happened here. Because they're in public.
Mm-hmm. But you can see that adult KJ is very distracting when she's around.
Mm-hmm. She distracts Lauren very easily. Listen, KJ has game. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
What
KJ has game.
She does. I could see that too.
I need a series of KJ just wooing Lauren.
Yeah.
I just want that.
I want KJ in college.
Yes. Oh my god. In NYU, and she's going to gay clubs and drag shows. I need this so badly.
Fina's basically about to be college age too, so
I feel like we just need to write our own movie about this.
The Adventures of KJ.
Except it's not KJ because,
Anyway, I just give them. This scene was everything. I love this scene so much.
I know I get tired of all of the coming out stuff, but this is like the freshest take.
Yes,
on any of that.
Yes,
I'm so glad you like it.
I couldn't agree more. Honestly, the way, again, literally that's what really struck me about the show.
Okay, it's also because KJ's from a time period that I relate to.
Totally.
And this, not only that, then you come the point where she's actually realizing she's gay is the time period that I was realizing I was gay. So we're in this world of, she walks into her room and there are all these posters for movies that I know. So it's like being in that position again.
You live in KJ's timeline. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
But it's just, I agree. This was such a fresh take on coming out for a 12-year-old. Because it's a different process for a 12-year-old, for an 18-year-old, for a 30-year-old. They're all different processes. And this one was
handled, I want to talk about.
Yes, and this one was just handled so masterfully. I can't get over it. It's so, I am at a point where I'm over media that's centered around the coming out stuff, because I feel like that's always what it's focused on. And not that those stories aren't important, and it's not, we should stop telling those stories. It's just I want a different facet of queer representation in media. But this blew me away, because while it is coming out, it's more not just I'm coming out. It's realizing. It's the full process. It's the realization. It's the full and we don't get the full process. It's always just the coming out and the backlash. And that's usually what the conflict is.
That's the thing, is I don't think we're tired of coming out stories. We're tired of the same coming out story.
Correct. The same format for them. This one was so refreshing, and just, I never would have pictured it through the lens of a 12-year-old, but it's just, because she has no idea what any of this even means, and then gets, imagine that. Imagine being 12-year-old. You're I'm unhappy. I don't know why. Then you see yourself doing this thing, and you're like, what the fuck? It's kind of fucked, actually, if you think about it. It's such a, what? But just to see her go through the process of grappling all of that, getting this advice, and then right even at this point, when she leaves the movie theater, she's still not fully there yet. She still has to keep processing it. I love that. It's just the full progression of processing to realization. Bye, Kaitlynn.
Bye, Kaitlynn.
Bye, Kaitlynn. Is that the stopping point for this episode?
Are we done with this scene?
Yes. I could talk about this scene forever.
I don't want to be done with this scene.
I know, this scene is so... I don't want to leave Lauren. I love her so much.
I love this scene How can we keep talking? Like, it's just gonna be the same thing over and over. I love it so.
I love it so much. This really touched me. This whole scene, the movie metaphor, like all of it was beautiful.
I need the both of them to come on the podcast so we can just tell them how amazing they are.
I know, seriously. There wouldn't even be questions. It'd just be like, we loved you so much. Holy crap.
It's like, you're amazing.
Please.
Let us know what you guys think.
Yes. What did you think of this scene? I would love to know.
And KJ's story.
Period.
At all.
Just KJ. All of KJ.
Yes.
And, we thought we were going to get 2 episodes out of this thing. Next time,
I'm
on
scared.
Big Gay Energy, we will actually... What did she say?
We'll finish the KJ and Max stuff. Because we started with it, and then it got into the KJ... It's just going in order.
Next time on Big Gay Energy.
It's actually the KJ and Max stuff. We keep lying to you in these episodes. If you're still listening to us, thanks.
Thanks, and come again.
Yes? Hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget.
Mm-hmm. Finishing my glass for that scene, because lesbian Jesus herself could have wrote that.
I'll finish
for
my
friends who have...
Can
I finish? For our friends who have followed us from Motherland. Belizu Izina Yesu Uvu.
There you go.
There you go. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye. And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all of our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing and super gay content.
Until next time, stay safe and hydrate for lesbian Jesus.